Never knew it could be so hard, living on the go, sink or swim his soul.
All right, so this is a series of videos that I've been wanting to do a while to get caught up with the collective of people that have been involved with Into the Pacific over the years. And today we welcome AJ to the Zoom video conference. How's it going, AJ?
It's going good, man. It's good to see you.
Good, man. Hey, so first thing I wanted to talk about was just like how are you holding up with the shelter in place, being here in Northern California? Both of us are in Hayward right now. What's it been like for you going on? Are we 3 weeks? 4 weeks? I'm losing track.
I've lost count too.
Barely know that it's Sunday. So
yeah.
Yeah. How's it been for you?
It hasn't been too bad, man, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a little discouraging that our day-to-day activities are a bit limited. However, I feel like I've become a lot more comfortable with being at home, considering the simple fact that I'm easily amused, for one. And two, if I ever need something to do, I just simply pick up my guitar or my keyboard and, fun for hours.
Right. Right. And I tell people probably, again, they don't know these things. And I take it for granted that like people who have maybe known us or the band over the years don't know some of the intimate details. But I feel like if I was to tell someone about you, it would be about your love for music. Like, I don't know too many people that have dived into music and continue on the path like you have. So yeah, man, I want to applaud you for that. And I'm sure that, like you said, that you're able to make good use of this time as a musician, that's that part of it's been good to you. So dude, thanks for the update. I'm glad you are doing good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the history of kind of how you kind of made your way into the Pacific?
Sure. Well, it's a pretty interesting journey, I guess you could say. For those of you watching, I've known Esteban and Danny, a bunch of us who've been into the Pacific together for quite some time. I mean, we saw each other when we would get together for Bay Area church events. We would play together. We attended church together. All these things, and over time you lose contact with friends and various people that you meet. And around 2010, I want to say 2010, 2011, Danny, our former guitar player in Into the Pacific, ended up going to the same school that I did. We went to college together for about 2 years, I believe. And he walks up to me, he's like, dude, check out my band's new record. And this was when the first Into the Pacific record came out. I want to say, 2011, 2012?
Yeah. So this is at Patten in Oakland, right?
Yeah. Danny and I went to Patten University together, and he puts it in, and I hear it, and I was like, whoa. Because it was really good production. It was good songwriting. And I was just like, this is kind of cool, man. And he's all getting all excited, doing his little groove thing. And
I can see Danny. I can see him in my mind.
Oh yeah.
Very proud.
And his groovy dance moves, playing the guitar. Oh yeah. And
yeah, he wasn't that stoked in the studio, man. I just want to let you know. I'm not throwing you under the bus, Danny, but we'll get into that with Danny when he's on.
Awesome. Well, during the school year, towards the latter part of my college career, he was approaching me, asking me if I wanted to jam or join the band. And at the time, I had a very, very big schedule, lots of things to do, school, work, ministry, you name it, I was doing it. I just couldn't do it. And then he told me, I'm going to get you when you graduate. Well, 2013, I graduated. He said, no excuse. You need to come now. I'm like, oh, okay. I think within a week or two of graduating college, I was in the garage with you, Chantal, and Danny playing keys, rehearsing for my first gig with Into the Pacific. It was at Sequoia Church in Oakland, I think it was.
Wow.
May 2013 was
Dude, you have a
my
great
first
memory. You have a great memory.
Dude, it was a fun show. I mean, I think Russ played drums that night too.
Oh my gosh. So that is rare all in itself. Yeah, because I haven't even put him on this list yet. I better. Oh man, I better get him in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you mentioned the garage, and just so people understand, the church that I grew up in here in Hayward, there's this garage and this old house on the property, and we were given access to the garage to turn it into a practice studio space, and without that, I don't think. I find it hard to believe how we would have come to the point of finishing an album, which you'll hear more about that from other people who were involved in that process. But AJ got skipped out of that process in his own schooling. But I definitely remember you coming to the garage in the early days.
Yeah, I hopped on the keys and we rehearsed a worship set together. It's crazy. I mean, I was brought in initially into the band to play guitar, but my first gig with Into the Pacific, I was playing keys.
Nice. Yeah. That was one of Danny's big pushes on you, was like, hey man, you got to get this AJ guy in here. Pretty much can do it all. One of the foundational pieces of our band was Jonathan Hogue, who was do it all kind of guy too.
Great guy.
Play any instrument, anything he could get his hands on. So yeah, man, it wasn't that we were trying to get you to fill his shoes, but Danny was always kind of looking like, is there somebody that can at least kind of be on that level, of being very versatile, and you definitely were that absolutely from a musical standpoint.
Do you remember when I first joined the band, we had dinner with Jonathan, probably was like 2 gigs in, and somehow you ran into him and we ended up going to like Chevy's or something.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, dude, like I said, your memory is far surpassing mine, and that's another part of why I wanted to do all this, was to just really lock in some memories, be able to look back at these in the future. But yeah, man. So you jumped in, and the very first thing you did with us wasn't even a show. Technically, you came out and did a worship set with us. Do you remember the first time you did a show?
Yeah, it was the Pizza Parlor on Mission.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yep. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, we got paid, and we also got free pizza and free beer, all that stuff. I'm trying to think. There's something special about that show. I had a friend show up to that show who would have ended up being my roommate. Carl showed up to that show. Yes.
Yeah, I remember, because that made you a bit nervous.
It did.
So that's I mean, and I'm looking forward to talking to Carl this week, actually, because when I ask him the question, how did you come into the Pacific, he's going to have to turn that question on me, because technically he started the band, not me.
Right.
Yeah. So I remember that show too. I have this faint memory of some kids running around wild in front of us, and I always kind of picked out things that I would pick out somebody in the room usually that motivated me for that show, and kind of just keep an eye on them. And for that one, it was those kids. For some reason, they kind of captivated me and kept my attention and motivated me through that show. Yeah. So, and it made it memorable to me because their playfulness, while some might have thought that was distracting, for me, it was 100% motivating.
Right.
I feel like music, especially our music, it was definitely more on the playful end. So, yeah. Cool, man. Cool. Good for a show. What about, is there any like specific memory that stands out that is like a highlight for you over the years?
That's a tough one because all my memories with the band have been nothing but joy and happiness. I mean,
that's good to know. That's good to know. You don't have to lie to the viewers, though. No, just.
But I'm serious. I mean, whatever happened in my personal life, like during my time in the band, that's a different story. But you and Chantal and Danny and Ethan, you've all been there for me, throughout the good and bad. But specifically talking about good times, we've played Foster City so many times. But one gig in particular, it was like one of my very first gigs in the band. It was like my second, maybe my third gig. We played an outdoor show in Foster City.
Right.
And Danny forgot his electric guitar.
Oh my goodness. No. I forgot Danny's guitar. Let's not throw Danny under the bus. Like, it was my job. And
I did not know that because I heard he was like, my guitar's not here. I had no clue that was your responsibility.
I mean, technically, right? It should be Danny's. Should be him.
Yeah.
But I agreed to go pick up all the gear, and I would sit there in the garage and like, why we never actually created a full-on checklist, I don't know, but we always left it up to my brain. To or me and Chantal and maybe one other person, if it's like, it was rarely the whole band picking up all the gear,
right.
That just didn't happen a lot. And so, yeah, go for it.
But
sorry.
The reason why I bring that up is because that was technically an acoustic show. I played acoustic guitar, Danny played acoustic guitar, and I thought it sounded great. I listened to the clip that Chantal had on Instagram, and I was blown away, Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite stories. Or the time we played with Gina Varro at the Awaken.
Awaken Cafe in Oakland.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That dude's solid, man. Like, I ran into him at NAMM one year, and he was just like, "What's up, man?" Like, same guy that we saw in that club. He was
nice,
just as genuine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was a awesome show. The one you talk about in Foster City was a little difficult for me, just because, like, people. What I remember about it was people hiding from the sun because they were so hot that day, and they had already been out in the sun. Previous to that, like, because of it was like a church in the park day,
right?
And like then they were having lunch while we were kind of serenading them, having a concert out in the park. But they had been out in the sun so long, these poor people needed some shade. So so I remember this, massive gap between us and the group of people way off in the grass in the cool of the shade, and we're sweating. Not only that, but I was stressing out too because of having forgotten Danny's guitar, and like, how are we gonna make it? But you guys always kept it so positive, and made it so easy to just jump in and say, hey, we're gonna make do with what we got, and it's gonna be cool.
For sure.
Yeah. So So this is the fun question of like, where has, where's life taken you to land, currently? Even though you started way back there, and maybe you got highlights along the way from 2013 to now, but yeah.
A lot has happened in 7 years, to say the least. I mean, 2013, I graduated college. And honestly, I had a lot of great times, but there was a lot of pain and a lot of struggle. I mean, physical pain, emotional pain, all that good stuff, bad stuff. I say it's good because it all worked out for the good.
Right.
And during that time, I did a lot of traveling. I got to go different places, different states, different countries. In 2016, I took a missions trip, my first missions trip to South Africa. And I experienced the fullness of God in a way I never did before. I mean, there was beautiful people there, and there was a hunger that I never saw before. These people have such a thankful heart. They're so thankful for what God has done in their lives. And that thankfulness rubbed off on me coming back to the States.
Right. Right.
And gosh, there's so much that happened. 2019, I know I'm kind of, jumping around, but the happiest times in my life, I mean, 2019 was probably the best year of my life, hands down. I had a great job at the time, and I was doing some recovering, from personal struggle and even some physical pain. I had a little bit of a health scare, but I rested up. I ended up worshiping with you. I joined Cedars Church for a bit. You had 3 out of 4 of Into the Pacific's lineup in the same church together.
Right.
That was probably one of the greatest times ever for me. I got to worship with you, my friend, my bro, my bandmate. It was, it didn't start off that way. I needed to rest and, get some restoration. But after a while, I thought to myself, hey, what about my calling, man?
Right.
And you didn't hesitate. You put me up there, and we were playing together, leading worship together. Then I got a call to, be the worship leader for this church in San Francisco. I'm worship leader for the Outpost Church in San Francisco. Been there, oh my gosh, it's been a long time now. Let's see, we're in April now, right?
Right.
In 2 months, it'll be a year that I've been the worship leader of the Outpost.
That's crazy. It's gone by really fast.
It really has, man.
Wow.
And during that time, I've told you what's going on, but I'll tell the viewers. I joined this church, and the church had, dwindling numbers at the time. And it was only down to like maybe 3 members when my pastor got there. By the time I got there, he'd grown it from like 13 to 15. And then I hopped on permanently. And from that moment to this moment now, we doubled the church. Now the church is at 30. Wow. And the worship team was just me on guitar or on keys. And then I grew the worship team from just me to 3 people: keyboard player, drummer, me on guitar. And I can honestly say that it's a thriving, healthy church.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I always applaud you for kind of coming into that place from just a state of ground up, kind of like, yeah, you got to be there and build something. That's special. Yeah, definitely applaud you for that, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, bro.
That's good, man. Like, I just really wanted to connect with people that have been a part of my musical journey. It's not, I talk about Into the Pacific sometimes, and it's almost like it's this other entity that's outside of me, but really, like, that is part of, I'm part of it, but also the journey is my own personal one. And I want to thank you for your loyalty and your dedication, your hard work at times, putting up with me and my freaking out in different moments before shows or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, a lot of my, with you specifically, I think a lot of my good memories are just van rides, man. That may go for a lot of people, to be totally honest. I really enjoy the relational aspect of music. There is a musician's relationship that is like magical. What happens, like, I don't know what other term to put it, like what happens on stage or what happens in a rehearsal or whatever when playing a song and things fall into place. Like, there's that musical relationship, but I think it's enhanced. It's only enhanced by the relationship that happens away from your instrument. And that a lot of times was what I enjoyed the most about us, the talks on the way to a gig. If I was stressed out, you checking in with me, hey man, you really okay? And me taking a breath and be like, nope, I guess I'm not. And I need to
you say it just like that too.
I need to check in with myself.
Yeah.
I need to check in with God right now and figure this out, hopefully before we hit the stage, because I don't want to take it on with me.
Yeah.
I really respect the stage, whether that was a show or whether that was a worship set somewhere. I really respect that space as sacred, and I want it to come from a place of a pure heart. And if I'm taking any grief with me up there, then let that be what it really is in that moment, right? Yeah. But if there's I don't want to take up anything extra, is what I'm saying. If there's joy that I'm taking up there with me, great. But if there's hardship, just don't want to take anything extra. So,
oh, dude,
and you helped me with a lot of that, definitely before and after shows. Decompressing and talking about highlights. It's always those are good memories for me. Yeah, man, good stuff. Well, I appreciate you jumping on here with me, AJ, and giving an update for people. I think this is going to be, you know what? I would have done this if it was just for me, honestly, to have an archive of some memories and just checking in with people. But I think this will be special for other people. I know for myself as a music lover, there's not much cooler than checking in with with one of my old favorite bands and seeing like a little vlog of like, hey, this is what I'm doing today. Here's what's going on in my life now, even if they're not playing shows much anymore, or even if they still are. It's just hearing something beyond music, right? And special to know that your favorite band members are not robots and that they're human behind all that.
If that was the case, we wouldn't have the intimate times we did, and it would just be strictly band music.
Right.
And that's one thing I've always loved about Into the Pacific. There's always been love in the band. You know, we've loved each other through some very hard times and dark times, as we've mentioned, we've talked about. And, you know, I think one evidence, you know, as the Bible says, they'll know your mind by the love you have for one another. Well, people will know that, you know, there's love in this band, not only because there's a sense of consistency in us, you know, showing up, playing the music, but also we give out love when we play, man. You know, we've had some very loyal followers. As far as I've been in the band, you know, we've had the same supporters, and we've gotten a few new ones along the way too, you know?
Right. Absolutely, man. It boggles my mind that anyone would. Music is just such a strange thing. Why, you know, why would you want to listen to my ramblings and my, you know, my tinkering with an instrument?
Right.
But like, it speaks to people, and far more than it's so far reaching beyond what any of us could do in our lifetime anyways, right?
Oh yeah,
especially with the evolution of, you know, the internet and streaming music. You know, it's the only way somebody in the remotest part of Africa could listen to our song, or in China or wherever. You know, it's really cool. So, all right, man. Well, thanks again. I appreciate very much your time, and I look forward to getting this up and posted, sharing this with the community. So, all right, man.
For sure, man. For sure.
Never knew it could be so hard, living on the go. Sink or swim is all I know. So float on, but you came home.